Hello and welcome to Talking Tildas, the Ladies League flagship program for the Women's World Cup on TLL TV, bringing you all the action in France. 1,440 days ago, the Matildas were knocked out of their third consecutive quarter-final at the World Cup, a 1-0 loss to Japan. Now, whilst it was heartbreaking, we were safe in the knowledge that this team, very young, full of potential, passion and poise, was ready for the challenge ahead. Sam Kerr, at the last World Cup, had 42 caps and 7 goals for Australia, hardly a household name. Now leading the line and captain of Australia, with 77 caps and 31 goals, she is the representative for women's football not only in Australia, but also across the world, and with the expectations of the entire country on her shoulders. But she's not alone. With breakout stars like Ellie Carpenter, the return of Hayley Raso, as well as the dismay at the Asian Cup final, but the triumph at the Tournament of Nations, Australia is ready for an immense challenge in France. I am your host, Nick Rupolo, for Talking Tildas, and with me are 3 names that you are going to be very familiar with by the time that this tournament is over. Michelle Morris, Christina Trajceska, and Rosa Valente. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What an intro.
Thank you very much.
I know. I think he's too professional for us.
That's it, we're up.
Talking Tildas is going to be with you for every match that the Matildas are in during this World Cup. That includes knockout matches and hopefully a Women's World Cup final or semi-final for the first time ever. Along with us, we have plenty of fan channels that are going to be providing coverage as well, and I'll throw over to Rose, who's going to describe those for us.
And first of all, I would like to welcome Nick to the team. It's his first time on TLL. Well, it's not actually his first time on TLL TV, but it's his first time on TLL TV as a host. So Nick and Chrissy will mainly be taking you through. Me and Michelle will be here when we feel like it. We really don't know. So you will have to rely on
Us two.
On these two. But as we saw with our introduction, you've got nothing to worry about. Nick's got it under control. Chrissy, but anyway.
Look, she's got something wrong. Look, it's
yeah.
We'll get it.
Anyway, so yeah, there's quite a few fan channels which are really exciting this World Cup. Lots of people doing many exciting things. Includes ourselves, of course, shameless plug. We have Taryn over in France for us during the World Cup. So she will be all over our Instagram, which if you are not following, it's at the Ladies League on Instagram. Give that a follow. She'll be uploading on stories, whatever else, whatever she finds. She might put some stuff on Twitter. We don't really know, whatever she feels like. So she'll be all over that, as well as different fan zones, fan areas. So if you are actually traveling to France, a lot of people who are heading off today, tomorrow, and the next day, we know Copper90 are doing, as they always do, some fun stuff. So they're going to actually have a fan zone in Paris and Lyon. Not Lyon. I told everyone to make sure I don't say Lyon. Lyon. In both areas. So check out Copper90's website to find out where that will be. If you will be in France, get the exact location, because if I try and say that street name, it's
Don't worry about it.
I mean, that was pretty close range.
We think.
Again.
Just not.
We
And we're terrible. So
We've just offended an entire nation.
and we will never be invited to France.
if the Matildas don't win, we're the reason.
Please win. And obviously Copper90 will be all over everything on their channels, I'm sure. And as well, things that will be happening in France are the Aussie supporter routes. Now, if you're not follow them on Facebook. They're actually a group of fans. They travel, so they actually went to Russia last year for the Men's World Cup. And they actually play friendlies against local teams. And I believe there's some others in there as well. So they're just fans playing friendly games against each other. So if you reckon that if you're in France and that's something you'd like to participate in, or just go there to watch and enjoy the atmosphere, Aussie supporter ruse it is. As well, Instagram channels to follow. A good one that I've found recently is Change the Channel UK on Instagram. There's actually a group of girls who are campaigning for pubs to actually have the Women's World Cup on all the screens. So you know how we always complain about A-League, W-League, you can never see it on a screen here, you know, the war that we're always going to have here in Australia. So they're actually campaigning that for the Women's World Cup, because lots of pubs you walk into and they're not going to have the Women's World Cup on, and over there in the UK they think that's disgusting. Good on them. So that's a great thing to follow. Another good one is Croissants on Tour. So it's Croissants_on_tour. Bunch of girls, Australian fans who are travelling to France as well. They look like they're having an absolute ball. They're excellent. And also, so just for people who will be at home, like us, unfortunately, who weren't able to travel, so just make sure if you want to watch Matildas games, SBS, Fox Sports and Optus Sport for all Matildas games. And if you want to watch all the games of the Women's World Cup, it's all on Optus Sport. So you need to make sure you have an Optus Sport subscription. We are not sponsored by Optus Sport. We
wish.
But if they want to give us a free subscription, that's cool. But we're just letting you know what's that.
I mean, if they want to send us to France too for the finals,
yeah, that's
we're
cool.
more than happy.
We are all available, you know.
Yeah, I'm on
Easily.
holidays from uni,
we
so
all are.
Yeah, I'm sure my boss will let me go. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, back over to you,
Thank you
Rose.
so much, Rose. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw to our resident South American. Michelle is half Peruvian and half Chilean.
yes.
So Chile are competing at this Women's World Cup. What do you think about Chile's chances at the World Cup?
Well, this is their first World Cup that they've ever qualified for, so it's a big deal for the Chilean nation. But I think in terms of their chances, I think they'll be very lucky if they can make it out of the group stage. There's still a lot of problems that lie within the federation in Chile, and I think that it's getting better. That South American football for women is getting a lot better, but I do think that there is still a lot of pushback, and I'm not sure how well that they will do, but if they can make it out of the group stage, I think I'll be very happy.
You're wedged in a group in between reigning champions, the United States, Sweden and Thailand. How many points do you think Chile can get?
Oh, I think they'll be, honestly, and this is maybe the cynic in me, but I think they'll be lucky if they get 1 point for a draw. It's a tough group.
Against the United States.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, they versed
Optimist.
the United States and they lost. And Sweden is Sweden. They're a good team, and Thailand is also a very good team. The Asian teams in women's football tend to do a lot better. And so I just think that if we can get a draw, we get a draw, and I'll be ecstatic.
Fantastic. Well, Chile start off their World Cup campaign against Sweden on the 12th of June, and we're going to take a quick break and a word from our sponsors.
Hey, where'd you get the mug?
You haven't heard? TheLadiesLeague.com.
Cool.
Hey. Welcome back to Talking Tildas on TLL TV. We're going to go around the panel now. Just a couple of questions for all of our guests. I'll go to Christina first, actually. What do you think of the Matildas' chances at this World Cup?
Hoping and praying that we take the thing all the way. Everyone's expecting the Matildas to do well in the Cup, but realistically, looking at the last couple of games, though, I'm not as confident as I was when we started up. So I'm a little bit worried now that we're not going to take the Cup home with us. If anything, I'm hoping for a semi-final.
How big do you think Ante Milicic coming in so late is going to... what kind of impact do you think that's going to have?
I think it's already showing. I mean, he's on the right track. We did well in... It was the Cup of Nations, right? I got it right?
Yeah.
Typical TLL.
Tour of Nations, Cup of Nations. We did
Nations,
Nations things
the
that
last cup that they were in, they did well. They won the damn thing, which was great for us. It was a great confidence booster. But at the same time, the cup that they were in, we were up against teams that, let's say, aren't as aggressive and as world class as we have the US, and we have Netherlands the other day. These are world class teams, giants of women's football that we're going to be up against in the World Cup. So it's going to be a lot tougher, especially now that we have a new manager. As good as he is, I think it's going to take a little more time for the girls to get it together now.
Rose, do you think, should the Matildas make only the quarterfinal, so get knocked out in the quarterfinal, would you see that as a failure at the World Cup?
No, you know what? I don't think that anything they do will be a failure, because I think the campaign leading up has been really exciting. I think their friendlies. Let's just not worry about the last one. But again, I just had a mind blank. There's what Cup of Nations, Tour of Nations. I can't remember the last cup again. Exactly as Chrissy said. Was they played? I think they played brilliantly. So no, I would. You know what? I'm going to go with a generic and say we should just be happy that we are at the cup and support our girls that are at the cup, and I would not be disappointed if they left at the quarterfinals, but they're not going to. They're going to make it all the way to the finals. So
Michelle, I'll ask you the same question. What do you think of Matilda's chances?
Look, I think they're pretty good, considering that we are ranked 6th in the world. And I think that says something about, Australia's women's footballing nation. But I disagree with Rose in saying quarterfinals is a good thing. I would not be happy if we make the quarterfinals. We're a team that's ranked top 10 in the world, We should be making the semifinals, at least, And I would be really upset if we only made quarterfinals. But I think that we have a good chance of winning, but, like Chrissy's mentioned before, like, we've lost against the US and against the Netherlands, and that's not a good thing. And I think it's kicking in now, like, oh, we're at the World Cup, we need to step it up. So
do you think Ante Milicic coming in so late isn't going to have an impact?
I think it has an impact. I think, like Chrissy mentioned, it's showing. Like, we've just lost 2 games, in a row, and that can't be good for, their mentality of, like, the team and who they are. But I think he's a good coach, and I think, he did really well to win his first 4 games with them in the Cup of Nations. So I think it's hard to say, but I think he's doing well.
Who's someone in the Matilda squad that you think is going to surprise you?
Surprise me, or someone who I want to surprise me? Either
one works.
I want Caitlin Ford to surprise me and just, like, absolutely smash in a right banger and just like bam, world class screamer, sends me like shirt off, waving it around, screaming.
I will have that on TLL too. Don't worry.
That's what I want to happen. But I do think Ellie Carpenter is going to surprise me. She surprised me in the game against the US with that world class save, and I think she will continue to surprise me.
Chrissy?
I'm going to say Razzo. She wants blood. I mean, she's been fighting since the moment that she broke her back. She's been fighting for that spot on the squad, not only just for the national team, but back in her club side with Portland Thorns. She wants to come away with a couple goals in this competition. I think she's going to surprise a lot of people.
Heather Razzo, Caitlin Ford, Ellie Carpenter, Rose?
Now, I'm going to go with not who's going to surprise me, because I actually think a lot of the team can't surprise me any further. I actually have so much faith in our girls that I'm not surprised anymore by what they do. But I think who's going to surprise a lot of people is Emily Gilnick.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Oh, she's been, her W League season was absolutely exceptional, I think. I think she played fantastic in the last W League season. I think she is someone who's on the rise. She's just getting better and better. Every game that I watch, she seems to be better and better. And I think she's a little bit, not entirely, just a little bit underrated. I don't think people rate her, they don't quite put her high enough, and I think she'll surprise a lot of people.
She's not quite in that Matilda's starting 11, so
Exactly.
she's on the fringes, but I think we'd all agree that she's probably somebody who, if you're not starting her, she's the first sub off the bench
Yeah.
in that case of the World Cup.
She's insane. Like, I loved her W League season as well. That victory, fucking.
Do we have permission to use video from Fox Sports?
I don't know.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Just gonna put in like the banger that she scored. Of the impossible.
Use your imagination. Okay?
One of the players that I think is going to surprise me is Mary Fowler. Now, Mary is the youngest player ever to be picked for a World Cup squad for the Matildas. At 16 years, 3 months and 8 days old, if she takes to the field, she will break the record for the youngest player to ever play at a World Cup, overtaking Caitlin Ford, who was 16 years and 7 months old in 2011.
Okay, you stat man. Okay.
Thinking back to when we were all 16 years old.
Oh yeah, fucking.
Somebody is 16 years old. Somebody is 16 years old playing at a World Cup.
That's insane.
What do you think's going through her mind, Chrissy? I'll go to you first.
A lot. First of all, she's gone to France. I mean, at 16, going across the other side of the world to play in the Women's World Cup. it's already amazing to be selected for camps for the Matildas and playing a couple games here in Sydney and a couple other states around Australia, but to pick yourself up and go all the way to France for one of the biggest cup tournaments in the world, and you're up against all these powerhouses, probably players that she looks up to and has posters of them on her wall. Example, this one right here. We don't know, maybe. You know, who doesn't love Alex Morgan?
Michelle, who would... Well, Michelle's one.
No, I never said that. I didn't. No,
Let's not open that can of worms.
Say it now.
Lies.
Michelle, how much game time would you give to Mary Fowler at the World Cup?
This is a hard question. It's a very difficult question because it's much like how
right.
much do you give someone who's much older time as well, someone who's like well experienced. Like if you look at the men's World Cup, the Tim Cahill situation, everyone was screaming for him to come on the field because this would be his last World Cup. But then at the same time, he's old, you know.
Yeah.
But
Well,
He's old, you know.
he's old. Like how much?
he's
does
a
he
veteran.
run?
That's a nice way to put it.
But like Mary Fowler, she's young, right? But how much experience does she have in playing professional football and, you know, playing at a World Cup? Obviously, this will be her first World Cup, which is incredible. But I reckon a good solid run is, you know, coming on, 75th minute and going for a run, at least in 2 of the games.
Rose, yes or no? Do you start Mary Fowler in any match at the World Cup?
Does it have to be a yes or no, or can I?
Has to be
Can
yes
I
or no.
give a counter offer? Okay,
Yes
yes,
or
or no.
no.
Do I start her? I wouldn't start her in the first game. I'd start her in the second game.
Okay, and with that word, we'll go to another message from our sponsors. Welcome back to Talking Tildas on TLL TV. We're going to go around the panel again for some predictions for the World Cup. I'm going to go to Michelle first. A team that is going to be your dark horse, and why?
A team to be my dark horse. I'm gonna go Chile because chi, le, viva Chile.
Let's not rewind and say that she thought they were only going to get 1 point in the group stage. So we'll leave that one alone.
just gotta, you know, support the country.
Chrissy, dark horse, and why?
I'm gonna pick Canada.
Canada.
Yes, Canada. Oh, Canada. I knew you'd freaking pull something like
I
that.
thought we weren't singing on this episode.
I can't contain myself. The World Cup's coming up. I'm excited.
Oh yeah,
Canada.
I'm gonna pick Canada. Reason why is because yes, they have a freaking mint team, but at the same time, I'm looking at a couple of their matches prior to the World Cup lead up. They basically won every single match, if not one drawn, and penalties against Sweden a good couple friggin' months ago. It was 6-5. They came up on top in the penalties, so they didn't even crack under pressure against one of the powerhouses like Sweden, which is quite amazing.
Rose, dark horse.
Nigeria.
Going for a bit of
Because they got
African
super
flavour.
cute kids. No. They do have super cute kids. All right, I'm gonna chuck that out there. I love the Nigeria kid. They have super cute kids, but no, I think that don't ask me why. I'm using my sixth sense. I have a feeling.
Nigeria semi-finals.
Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe. I'm not a good betting person.
Okay.
Let's just say yeah.
We'll
Sure.
leave that one.
Why not? I'm waving the Nigerian flag. Yeah.
Chrissy, I'm going to come to you on this one. Now, this is a tough one. Considering that the top scorer for Australia and our captain, Sam Kerr, hasn't yet scored at a Women's World Cup yet, but who is going to be, your prediction, your top goal scorer of this Women's World Cup?
I want it to be Sam Kerr, but looking realistically, I'm going to turn to France here and I'm going to go Les Sommer.
I was the exact same.
Yeah, because she's looking at, I can't remember the amount of goals that she's scored, but I think it's definitely above the 140 or something like that. And being at this tournament in France, she's going to have a lot more in her to go, hey, this is in my home, I'm going to make sure to score as many goals as I can possible.
Michelle?
Alex Morgan.
Top goal scorer?
Yeah, she's gonna bang a hat trick at one point.
How many goals?
How many goals? Oh, I don't know. Don't give me that. I don't know how.
Just a random number.
75.
75 goals. A bold prediction on Talking Tildas.
Just jokes. JK. Michelle, cut that out.
Rose, top goal scorer for you.
I think, contrary to what you just said, I think Sam Kerr.
Sam Kerr?
Yep, I think she's gonna pop her cherry at the World Cup.
Okay.
As in her goal scoring cherry.
Good luck, Sam. I'm rooting for you.
We're right behind you, Sam.
She's gonna pop her goal scoring cherry.
Yep.
But my second is Alex Morgan, for sure. Yeah.
What
just
about
gonna-
Kristen Press? No.
Personally, for me, I agree with Chris. I'm going to go for Le Sommer for France because I think France are going to make the World Cup final. But because France are making the World Cup final for me, there's always going to be one side, like Germany at the Men's World Cup, some side that is going to struggle and surprise us with their poor performance at the World Cup. Chrissy, who's a big side for you that is going to struggle?
Alright, it's hard to pick a side because they're all just so world class, and you don't want to put any of the powerhouses down. But if I were to pick anybody, I've just got a gut feeling that England won't do as well as everybody had hoped.
England.
It's not coming home.
England.
I don't think it's
Oh,
coming.
you're making some enemies right now.
And Joey's gonna kill me, but you know what?
Rest in
not
peace,
coming
Joey
home.
Lynch.
There goes the wedding with me and Joel.
Rose, big side that's going to struggle for you.
Italia.
Why?
The most emotion you've shown on this whole time.
I'm sorry to the homeland, but again, Sixth Sense. But this thing, these are predictions. I mean, we don't actually know. We're not out there on the pitch playing. We actually don't know.
Remember the last time we predicted something? Yeah, no.
Yeah, I suck at predictions, but I'm going with Italy. I just don't think they've got it, and I'm happy that I went with Italy because they're in our group.
Perfect. And Michelle, a big side that's going to fail for you.
The US.
The United States.
Yeah, I reckon the US.
It's a tale of Germany at the Women's World Cup.
I reckon the US is gonna choke big time.
Really? But like we were
Yeah.
watching them in the damn car on the way back home to Sydney from Melbourne. It was a wonderful
Yeah,
time.
and they choked. They were winning, and then they conceded how many goals?
They should have done
I can't
better.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was what 5-4 the final result.
Was it?
Wasn't it like 3-2 or
It was
something?
5-2. 5-3.
5-3, I think.
Yeah.
Jeez, let me just
Terrible.
research this.
But
Against-
regardless,
Well,
Against
and apparently
Australia.
75 goals are also going to get
Yeah.
scored in the World Cup, so I mean, we're really
74 goals
Fucking
against
what?
Jamaica, 1 goal
5-3.
against
I was
Australia.
right. Yeah, it was
you
5-3.
guys are all wrong because no one knows what you're talking about. That bit's gone. She got cut it out.
Michelle Morris TV's
Anyway.
editing skills. Anyway, yes, continue.
So-
No, I
What were you
reckon.
saying?
I reckon the US is gonna choke. I have a gut feeling.
You just hate Alex Morgan, don't you?
I don't hate Alex Morgan.
And when you say choke, do you mean not qualify from the group stage, round of 16?
No, I
quarterfinal?
reckon like round of 16 quarterfinal, somewhere around
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and then they're just gonna like something's gonna happen, and they're just gonna be like, "Whoops, how do I play football? Sorry, how do I play soccer?"
Perfect. Well, I was
The
tossing
Americans
up.
are gonna hate us.
I was tossing up between
We're
choosing
going to trend.
choosing the Netherlands
Yes.
or Italy for a team that I thought was going to struggle. Even though the Netherlands slammed us 3-0, I thought in that first half they were extremely shaky. And I'm never confident that Italy brings it home. But because I want to be the contrarian to Rose, I'm going to say the Netherlands are going to struggle at
You
this
wanna
World
go.
Cup.
Well, we hope.
Finally, our last question that we're going to go around for the panel is, where are the Matildas going to finish at this World Cup?
Final.
Rose, I'm going to go to you first.
Final.
Who against?
Damn it.
England. The Lionesses. They're going to play against England. I think, pretty sure that's what I came to in the prediction thing I did on the official FIFA website. Yes, against England, they're going to win. And they're inspired because they watch our documentary, She Kicks Like a Girl, and they also saw the Spew hit table, which was inspired by them. So they're going to win because they're so inspired by
It's gonna
us.
be
We love you
TLL.
girls. We love you
TLL
so
versus
much.
Premier Lasses.
Fantastic. Chrissy, where are the Matildas finishing?
They're taking the damn thing home, man. They're taking it home.
She's winning the World Cup, the Matildas.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you agree?
You better agree.
I mean, I want to agree.
You
I'm
can
gonna
say whatever
yes.
you want. This is a safe area, safe place.
My heart says, please win, and I hope you can win, and I hope they will win. But my brain says semi-finals.
Semi-finals. I'm going to break all your hearts. I'm going to say we are going to get knocked out in the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals.
Da-na-na.
I think on our side of the draw, it's going to be a tough run to get to the finals. So I'm going to say that the Matildas, unfortunately, are going to go 4 consecutive World Cups in getting knocked out in the quarterfinals. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to the 25 million Australians watching right now, but
It's not that
We-
viewership.
we
Wow.
just not confident.
They're gonna make sure that he never gets on channel or TV again.
No way. And that is me signing off on my death warrant. AFP, come and get me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much
I'll
for joining
live tweet
us. Thank you so much for joining us on Talking Tildas. It has been a pleasure having you with us on our first episode as we begin our journey with the Matildas in France at the FIFA Women's World Cup. I've been Nicholas Rupolo alongside Michelle Morris, Christina Trajceska and Rosa Valente. We'll see you on Sunday as the Matildas kick off their campaign against Italy. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Woo! Go team! I love sports!